All right, let's see here. Here we go.
Still says, okay, there we go. We're up. What's up, guys?
What's going on? Welcome all the affiliate marketing syndicate. Welcome all the people that came over from. I need to turn this volume down. The millennial entrepreneurs that came to join us, and obviously welcome Arne. Arne, help me pronounce your last name just so I don't butcher it on here, man.
Giske.
Giske. All right, that's how I would have gone with it, but
No worries, no worries.
just kind of we got some people rolling on. If you guys are on here live, man, hashtag live. If you come on for the replay, hashtag replay, make sure and drop that in the comments. Welcome all. So I just want to kind of start off with the first question with you, Arne, is like how you got started in all this. Give me a little bit of background on your story and how you've kind of gotten to where you are today, traveling around the world, just
Yeah.
loving life. It looks like to me, man, something we
Yeah,
all wish
yeah.
for.
I love that question because a lot of times people see, people who might be a few steps ahead of them or a few years ahead of them, and they think, oh, that's impossible for me. And you got to remember, everybody always has, their starting spot. And for me, that really wasn't that long ago. I only got into online business about 2.5 years ago, and just went like all into it, and dove in and deep, and went to go figure it out. So before I got into online business, I had two other little businesses. So do you know those three-wheeled bicycles that carry passengers around?
Yeah.
I used to do that up in Seattle. So when I was in college, that was my little side hustle, where I would go in Seattle. I would take tourists all over the place, charge them 20, 40, 60 bucks a pop, and make great money for a kid in college. And that was my first business, because I rent the bike, and then I go out and I have to hustle my face off every day. Get 50 no's for every yes, and then make some money. So that was my first side hustle that really taught me a lot about sales, perseverance, tenacity, customer service, positioning yourself. Where are you going to park that thing to get the most rides, all that kind of stuff. And I knew I couldn't do that forever. I wasn't making that much money, and it was tiring. You're literally carrying people around like a donkey. You're riding a bike, and you have to bring people all around the town.
At
Not
least you're
not
getting in shape, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. My thighs were like tree trunks back then. It was good. But besides that, I knew it wasn't scalable. I knew it wasn't something I could do forever. I knew it wasn't going to make me six figures. So I wanted to pursue something different. And that's when I got into insurance sales. I joined an MLM for a little bit, and I came into it with the impression that it was going to be like, okay, I can scale up, I can build a team, I can do all this, do all that. And like any MLM, there's a lot of promises, and not always the results. So I learned a lot. I didn't earn a lot, but I came out of that with a lot better understanding of sales, perseverance, resourcefulness, all these different things in that hustle. So I don't regret the experience, but it prepared me for much bigger things. So when I finally got online, the best thing I got out of that, joining the MLM for a few months, was my BS meter was like off the charts. So I started seeing all this random bullshit online, and I was like, all right, now I know what to look out for. I'm not falling for that, So I was able to kind of step into it with a clear head about business and opportunities and things to pursue. And I just started really focusing on building skills, because I don't remember who told me this, but somebody told me early on, like, it's when you are in your career, in your business, or anything really, you got to think about how you're spending your time now. Is this something that's going to have skills that translate to you in the future? So like those two previous things, pedicab and doing insurance sales, those gave me skills that I still use today. Everything from the sales to the tenacity, all the stuff. So it's all about building up those stackable skills. So I got started, and I really just focused on okay, like, where can I fit online, and what do I have to learn that's going to be versatile? So naturally, I ended up with marketing, and because marketing is every business. Every business needs marketing, and you can do marketing for every business. So that's where I kind of dove in and got my start, and totally failed my way through the first year, and then things got a lot better from there.
So did you like get online? Was it mainly Facebook and you started cruising around? Obviously, like my world is built around ClickFunnels. That's pretty much how I, found you eventually, and all the other people that I've like kind of taken on and started following, watching how their growth happens and all the cool things they do. What direction, because I know everybody starts and there's so many shiny objects all over the place. And, it's so easy to just fall off, the path that you want to take.
Yeah.
How did you start getting onto the right path, and where did you learn this stuff?
Yeah. So it really took me a long time, and it was kind of a combination of a lot of different skills coming together. But like my whole first year of like actually making money in online business, I was focused on agency services. So I started out by brokering services. So like, I don't know how to make an app or a website, but I knew people that did, and then I would connect them with clients and I would get paid on deals. So that's kind of how I started soaking in agency world before I actually knew how to do any of the work. And, made some money, but, made a lot of mistakes as well. And I learned the industry, I learned the game, and I kind of started building these other different skills around marketing, because I had to market myself to be able to make that business work. And I started getting more into copy, funnels, client acquisition, all this different stuff. And then I started actually doing some more of the services, more focused on copywriting, funnel building, strategy, that kind of stuff. And that was my vehicle. So like, especially people, if they're more getting started, you don't have to start out and pursue your passion. This is, contradictory to all people say, oh yeah, you have to pursue your passion. No, you don't. You have to make money. You have to have a vehicle. So if you don't have a vehicle that can give you the freedom to pursue your passion, you're going to be stuck being a starving artist for the rest of your life. You have to understand how you can get yourself up off your feet and earn freedom, and then be able to do whatever the hell you want with it. So the agency for me was my vehicle. That's what got me up to, $10K a month. And from there, I had the freedom to say, okay, now I don't have to take agency clients. I can start developing my Facebook group training, because that was kind of my superpower. Was I understood that what I was doing with groups was different than 99% of the other people out there. So I couldn't just say, okay, draw the line, done, switch. Now I'm going to make much money with Facebook group courses. It was like, okay, I have to transition that, and then, wean off that vehicle that got me up to that certain point to be able to scale up. So I've seen a lot of people go through similar transitions where it's like, okay, they learn a skill, they make the money, and then they figure out where they really want to take it. And that freedom is priceless. So like, I know you use affiliate marketing as that vehicle, and that's awesome. So like, there's so many different ways to make that happen.
Or you got guys like Matt Staten, he just like builds a vehicle up, then goes to something else after he becomes successful. He kind of is like the master of all sorts of different things. But is there anybody like you would, or any few people? I mean, obviously we all probably have read plenty of books, taken courses, but is there anybody you really like attribute like your success to, like a mentor or somebody who like directly helped you and you got coaching from, or anything like that?
Yeah, I would say on that front, it's been a very collective thing where, like I say I had dozens of mentors, because there's so many people in this circle that are good friends of mine that we help each other out on different things and contribute ideas to each other's growth. But hands down, for like the actual kickstarting and going from, not being successful to becoming financially free, got to give a shout out to my man, Dan Henry. So I was like student number 10 in his Facebook ads course. I don't know how long ago, but that's where I really started to learn direct response copy, how funnels actually worked, how to, get people's attention, how to get people to take action. And that was kind of the foundation of my agency skills, because without that, I couldn't have had that same like growth curve in figuring out how to monetize Facebook groups, figuring out how to, get results for clients, all that. So that was some very foundational stuff that I learned from him. And then I saw him, take his course from, an 8-person group coaching program to a multi-million-dollar course. So naturally, I paid attention to that, and I launched my own course. So there's a lot of different things I picked up from him along the way.
Well, that's really cool, man. So when, I don't want to get too far off on the like agency stuff, but it's always like interesting to me. Hey, if you guys are on here, make sure and hashtag live, say what's up. If you get on for the replay, make sure and hashtag replay, drop some questions, comments down there below. So agency work, I always try and figure out how I can tie that into affiliate marketing for me. I'm kind of working on, collecting a certain amount of funnels and, how like different, like real estate agents, chiropractors, things like that, doing some YouTube videos, how I can teach people how to use ClickFunnels and things like that. And hopefully, they'll sign up through my link, maybe given a share funnel and some other information. But what was your focus initially in the agency work? Did you just take a certain couple niches and start, focusing on those and then learning those and then going from there?
That's what I should have done. I made a horrible mistake, and my opportunistic brain said, "Oh my gosh, this online space is huge. There's so much opportunity. There's so much money flying around. I'm going to do everything I can to get my hands on a lot of it." So I went out and I got like a dozen different contractors for like all these different services. And then I was like, I'm open for business. I can solve all your problems. What do you need? And I was like this big like brandless agency that had no specialty, no focus. I was just trying to be the middleman, the broker. And I didn't understand that I was starting 7 businesses at once by offering several different services. So I see a lot of people making that same mistake. They think, oh, well, there's so much opportunity if I can offer SEO, Facebook ads, graphic design, apps, all this stuff. Oh, I can just hire somebody. But you're not realizing the big picture of you lose all sense of your brand. You lose your ability to build focused skills. Like even if I had niched down to just one of those offerings, didn't even have to be to one industry, I would have been able to have so much more success. Because I would have been deflecting a lot of the things that didn't fit and focusing on the ones that did. So hands down, that's my big agency tip for you guys. Offer less stuff and get good at it. Because once I started doing that, that's where more of my success came. I said, all right, I don't do the rest of this stuff. I can refer you to some people, but I do, funnel copywriting and emails. That's it. And then naturally my income went up, my prices went up, my skills went up, quality of clients went up. So that's my agency tips for you guys. And it's really cool how the agency was actually how I was able to start generating affiliate income. So I'm not some big crazy ClickFunnels baller with a million dollars in orange bars or anything, but I make about $1,000 a month, and I had been steady about $1,000 a month for the last year and a half. And I attribute all that to my positioning as a marketer and my education that I put out, my content that I put out, how I help people, the one-on-one stuff I do. Because naturally, when people are learning and they're paying attention to you and how you do things, when you make a suggestion, they're going to listen to you. So when you can use that influence to recommend products, that's so much more powerful than every other affiliate out there that's just trying to say like, okay, if I buy traffic, if I do this, if I have this on the funnel template, will I get the most affiliates? It's like, no, you have to earn people's respect and create that connection. And then that's going to make it easier to make affiliate money than most other things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they probably just see all the, the platforms you're working with and things like that and see that I want to do this. And so again, you guys, make sure there seems to be a good amount of people on. Glad you're here. Hashtag live, hashtag replay. So going from there, obviously, you had the agency business, and that helped you build up enough income to decide what you really want to do, which is, I guess, building groups, teaching people how to build groups. I did have one other question. So, you know, you got all these mentors and stuff, and this is something that always kind of like, you know, because I'm an affiliate marketer, I promote other people, you know, guys like, you know, Greg Jeffries and Spencer Meckham, and you know, I promote their products, but eventually I'd like to create my own. Do you ever feel like, you know, like, oh, if I create the same product that I learned from them, obviously you try and differentiate yourself as much as possible and you build up a following, but do you ever feel like, oh, I'm stepping on their toes? Or, I mean, you got a really unique niche that not a lot of people are doing.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is too, like everything out there is a rehashed version of something else. Your biggest mentors, everybody out there watching, you all have a bunch of mentors. Guess what? They learned from their mentors too. It's the same stuff that gets rehashed. But the cool thing is because you have, when people have a lot of different mentors, they can kind of combine these philosophies and these strategies and figure out how to make them fit. So like, that's why I attribute a lot of my early success to Dan and what he showed me, because I know that what he showed me was versatile. So I can take that stuff with the direct response to copy and not use it for ads, but maybe use it for Facebook groups and then figure out where it fits in that, how it fits in that whole funnel and that whole ecosystem. So it's all about kind of combining these different methodologies and making it something that is unique. So yeah, don't just copy and paste other people's stuff and then, you know, slap your own name on it. But if you can really infuse some of that other stuff that you learned and figure out how to make it even better, then you're good to go. Then you're the mentor.
No, that's great. Great. Great information. Thanks for that. So transitioning to, you know, groups, I mean, obviously that's your big thing. Nobody really, I mean, while people, you know, you go into the ClickFunnels and they're like, who's the best for groups? And everybody starts throwing out all these names and stuff like that. And then you get guys like Gallant Dill who come out there and toot his own horn, you know, about everything, which Gallant's cool. I like his stuff. But, you know, for me, you know, your methods I've used, you know, here or there, and they work, you know, it's amazing. You know, like I haven't had my group that long. I've been since probably the beginning of March. And, you know, I've seen similar people come into the same business, start their groups at the same time. And I've just like, you know, blown them out of the water. They're still at 300-400 members while I'm starting to get up to like 1,200, which is cool. But how did you decide that particularly was what you wanted to focus on? And like, tell me kind of like, I've seen your story a couple of times where you were talking about how, you know, you failed at it a couple of times before that. And, you know, kind of give me a little bit of history behind that.
Yeah. So I had 4 different groups that totally flopped before the one I built now, which is 73,500 members now. And every little one taught me something different. But what really kind of brought me to making it a reality was I understood the power of that very unique connection you have in a Facebook group versus any other platform out there. Because for building a personal brand, building an audience, building like real strong connections with people, you cannot do that on any other platform at scale the same way you can do it with a Facebook group. Because every time that you comment, you post, you show up, this is getting somebody more attached to you, your personality, your brand, your values, the stuff you had to bring to the table. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. Like now is the time to really like sink my teeth into this whole Facebook group thing and figure out how to create one of the best communities out there. So I stuck with it. I learned all the ins and outs and, you know, just totally blew it up.
That's really cool, man. It's a great story. So how did you decide to like kind of scrap the other ones and then like focus on this one? You know, did you reinvent your whole persona at that point, or were you just like okay, these are died out. I didn't do right with them, so I'm going to scrap them and start fresh.
They kind of scrapped themselves. they were already so dead and beat up and empty and zero engagement, zero leads, zero money coming in. It was like, all right, I'm just gonna archive those. And so it's like the first 6 months of my current group wasn't actually that awesome. Like it took us 6 months to get up to about 1,000 people. And during that time was a lot of my like hardest learning lessons. But I had this sense when I started that group, I kicked it off with a challenge and I thought, all right, this is the group that will succeed. There was just no other option. There's no doubt in my mind. So I knew I had to figure out what it takes to actually make it work. Because a lot of people, they just mess things up, and it's an experience thing. It's like, okay, how do I build the skills, gain this experience, and get into a groove of making this work consistently? Because like having a group it doesn't turn off. You know, it's on and it's on.
It's a grind.
Yeah. So it's a challenge, but you know, like any challenge, there's a way to get through it. So I knew I could build that up and make it happen. And then, you know, throughout picking up all these different skills and right around the time I had 1,000 members, that was the month before I started my whole traveling digital nomad lifestyle. I left my hometown of Seattle. I had a one-way ticket to Medellin, Colombia. I had $800 in the bank. And I was like, all right, if I mess this up, I'm going back to my hometown and getting a job. No freaking way. So that was me kind of burning the boat of you know, any kind of security there. So I was like, all right, I have to make this work. So I really invested a lot more time, effort, energy into the group and was showing up a lot more. And we doubled within 1 month. We went 1K to 2K. And then right around the end of that second month, we got featured in Fast Company and we grew by 1,000 members in 1 day. And then another 1,000 that following week. And then from there, because I had already prepared the community and figured out the systems and figured out how to get engagement and make money from it, I was able to really capitalize on all that new growth and then turn that into something that continuously grew on its own. You know, doubling again, all the way up to 73,000 now. So I was just, you know, it's crazy when you really dedicate yourself to some kind of a certain outcome. What do you know? The stars start aligning and then new opportunities pop up that really can accelerate that growth. So that's my biggest tip for everybody is like, be okay with being dedicated and really, really fight for an outcome that you want. And what do you know? Cool shit is just going to naturally line up.
No. Well, I think it's a really cool story, man, because it takes a lot of, you know, balls to decide I'm going to move to, you know, Colombia. You know, I see other guys out there do the same thing, but it's really, you know, it's fascinating to me. I don't have that possibility. I have 2 little ones. I'm, you know, divorced. So I'm not leaving here until they're ready to leave. And hopefully maybe I can pass some of this along to them and they'll just go straight to traveling around the world at some point. So when did you take obviously when you moved to Medellin, you were probably starting up the agency work. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was doing a couple grand a month, you know, not like insanely good or anything. I wasn't having those 10K months yet. But so that was January 16. And then by, I think it was, March, I did a challenge to myself. And I said, all right, I'm going to make money online every single day of this month. And I just went to battle, you know. I figured out all these different things that I could offer, everything from affiliate, consulting, services, you know, my Facebook mini course when it was like $37 back then. And I leveraged the group hard. I talked to a bunch of people. I had a lot of conversations. And every single day of March, I made money online. And that was my first 5-figure month. And we had doubled any of the previous month's revenue. So it was like, I think that month was like 16K. And then right before that was like 8. And right before that was like 3 or 5 or something like that. So it was like all this energy that I had put the whole year leading up to it was like all this momentum was paying off. And then I was like, all right, now I know all this stuff. Let's put this to use like right now. And then I did it. And what do you know? Doubled the previous best month.
So do you attribute all that, like it was like your income and the growth of your group? I mean, were they pretty much aligned as
Yeah, totally.
it was getting bigger, you were making more money?
Absolutely. Yeah, just a bigger pool.
That you guys should all take that right there in very heavily, because growing a group and monetizing a group can make you a lot of money. And if you guys aren't following Arne, make sure and go out and follow him. Make sure and join his group. I'll drop all these links in the comments after we're done. Millennial entrepreneurs. It's a fascinating group, and it really is just amazing to watch Arne just, I mean, blow that group up anytime he wants, and how awesome it is. So
and it's crazy because one of the coolest things about groups is it's like an online business easy button. It's like if you know, if you have 500 people and you go do live stream, you could talk about whatever you want and say, oh, by the way, I got this this coaching program. It's going to help you do X, Y, and Z, and then you might get a couple of takers. Well, what happens if you have a group of 5,000 people? You're probably going to triple the rates of your coaching program and still get double the amount of people enrolling. So wouldn't you want to do everything you possibly could to figure out how to grow that audience fast? Like it's like an easy button. Like you have people who, you know, you might be super smart, but if you have an audience of 300 versus 3,000, you're not going to be making as much money. There's a lot of people out there that are like totally not even as skilled, but because they have the audience, they make it work. Like if that doesn't piss you guys off and make you want to go do a group and be like, you know what, I'm better than you guys. I want the audience. I want to make it happen, you know? So think about that. Like press that easy button, learn how to grow a group. And one of the coolest things about groups too is like after you get to about 1,000 members, there's this tipping point. And most groups see it between 500 and 1,500 members, most around 1,000, where it starts to grow on its own. You kind of, you're a lot more confident in your voice. You developed what the community is about a bit. And like, I'm totally seeing that happen in here with you too, where like you're learning what everybody wants. They're paying attention, they're engaged, and that's awesome. So like this group is an awesome example of that. And once you get to that point, everything becomes that much easier. So it's like that tipping point where at first, like the 0 to 1,000, that's the hardest part. After that, the amount of effort you put in is like so much lower for the amount of income you get. When you start, it's like high effort, low income, and then it kind of evens out. And then at one point you're like, oh, not that much effort, a bunch of money. Like it's crazy. So that's what I specialize in. Is I help people get to that tipping point in 30 to 90 days if they actually do the work. So like I know we got the group growth challenge. I know you got a link for that one. And like hands down, that's the best spot to really just jump in and start making stuff happen. And also understand what not to do, because there's a lot of ways to kind of mess things up as you grow your group. I don't want you guys to make those mistakes.
if you guys are interested, make sure and hit in the comments group growth. We'll go ahead and put that hashtag group growth in the comments, and I'll make sure and drop those links for that Arne's course, man. It's I did the free challenge, and it made a huge difference. I mean, just doing some of the things. Heck, I took one of your techniques just to get some extra members in here talking about, you know, your interviews. So
yeah, it works. It works.
It's some great stuff, great content. Now, when you're talking about, you know, hitting the easy button, I think the first glimpse I got of that was Matt Staten and his affiliate blueprint. I used to watch him just like, oh, I'm taking 10 people to do this, or I'm taking 10 people to do that. All of a sudden he'd get 100 comments and he'd print like $10,000 in like an hour. I mean, I always said he was printing money in there. So, you know, if you guys haven't started a group and you're not interested in, you're missing out on a lot of potential, a lot of money, a lot of ways to grow your brand and just make money. So I was going to ask you, you know, just if you could give us maybe, you know, 2 or 3 tips to help everybody out on what they can do if they're just starting out, you know, they just started a group, what can they do to get it to start growing,
Yeah, for
relatively
sure.
quickly.
So the most important thing to do to grow your group is the shortest amount of time, but the biggest impact. And that is having the group name be very, very targeted. So like I'm sure you've all seen some groups out there that are titled something like Your Authentic Life with Arne Giske. It's like what does that even mean? What do I expect if I click on that? Like what happens on the other side of a group where the title is Your Authentic Life? There's so much fluff in titles and people that don't know why they should click on something. So when you're thinking of your group and your name, you have to be focused on two things. Number one is keyword. So is your group name going to be keyword heavy, where if somebody in your target audience sees it, that they're going to like immediately identify with it, say like, oh yeah, I'm into affiliate marketing, I better go check that out. Or if it's like, even having like really, really identity words, where if it's something like, my group is like millennial entrepreneur community. If somebody identifies as a millennial, they're going to naturally feel a lot more inclined to jump in. If they don't, they might not want to join. And that's okay, because that's not who I'm trying to attract on all my stuff. Like I know very intentionally who I want to have in the group. So I also recently added some stuff to the name to narrow it down even further. So now it's Millennial Entrepreneur Community Online Business Builders Club. And that was a very intentional move, because with my new project, I wanted to attract only online business owners. So naturally, I want to repel people who are not identifying with the online business owner title. So always think about what your group name has to do with your offers, your business, your brand, the type of audience you want to bring in. Because if it's off, so I'd say probably 95% of my Facebook group growth has come organically through Facebook. I'll say that one more time. In the last 2 years, 90% of a 73,000 person audience has come without me paying for ads to get anybody there. That's super powerful. And it happened because I had high engagement, and that means Facebook suggests your group out to more people. But Facebook can't automatically cause people to join the group. The group name does. So you show up more as suggested if you have high engagement, and you show up, you get more members if you are showing up as suggested and people identify with your title. So that's hands down the best group growth hack I can give you guys.
So just a couple questions for myself either way. For engagement, how would you suggest somebody like, I mean, even me, I try and post a couple times a day. Sometimes it doesn't catch, sometimes it does. Is there any tips like as far as like times to post, or like things that you should do to kind of get some more engagement in your group if you feel like it's kind of stagnant?
Yeah, so time isn't as big of a deal, but now that like I'm over in Europe and I'm in Barcelona right now, so I'm 6 hours ahead of Eastern, and I've noticed very much that if I post too early in my morning, everybody's asleep over in the States. So I try and hold back from posting or schedule stuff until at least 9 a.m. Eastern. That way people are already awake, they're already doing their stuff, they're going about their day, they're checking Facebook. Because I find the majority of my audience is in Eastern, and it's kind of a central time zone where, some people are going to be in Pacific, some people are going to be, South America, some people are going to be in Europe, and it captures that kind of core time. So like anything after 9 a.m. Eastern is good time. And then, not super late into the night, but it can still work. People kind of browse Facebook all the time. So as for some engagement strategies, the best thing I can tell you to do is understand how what I call everyday content works. So everyday content is the idea that, in your life, in your business, in whatever you have going on, you are having experiences all the time. Stuff happens, funny stuff, sad stuff, happy stuff, bad stuff, exciting stuff. And your goal is to be able to take that idea, that experience, shove it through your head and pop out a piece of content. So that's how I make so much content. I am constantly inspired by what's going on in my life, my news feed, and what's influencing me, that I can grab something and then just very quickly turn it into content, like 5 minutes or less, unless it's like, some very in-depth thing I'm working on. So that's hands down the easiest way to produce a lot of content, is be aware of what's going on in your life and then think, how can I turn this into something that would be good for my group, that they would find value in? And the other big thing that a lot of people kind of are confused by is the term value. So people think value is, oh my gosh, that was such a value bomb. He just told me everything on how to make $1 million. Not quite. So people receive value in different ways. So everything from, a funny picture, a good discussion, something that gets people engaged, that's something they find valuable enough to show up and comment, like, consume. And even if they don't comment and like, doesn't mean they're not consuming. So like, especially in smaller groups where it shows you like, oh, 45 people have seen this post and nobody likes it, you're like, shit, what's wrong with me? But you just always got to think it's a numbers game, number one. And number two, there's always people watching. So keep putting it out, be consistent, and just share what's going on.
Yeah, I guess, and I found that just like, trying to be, I don't always have to give the most technical information, but, just like putting yourself out there, showing some vulnerability, doing some Facebook lives and just kind of talking to people about what's going on in your life, because, everybody else, even guys like you and the other people that I look up to, like Catlin and, Spencer and these guys, everybody has had times where they've posted something, it didn't catch, nobody said anything.
Oh, yeah. Every week.
and they overthink it. Like, like people don't like me. People don't, that's a constant struggle I have all the time.
Yeah. Like, I find so that actually makes for good content in my student group. So like in my Facebook groups course, a lot of times I'll go up and I'll post things like, oh, here's this post I made, half an hour ago and it got 1 like. Like, that sucks. I got 73,000 people in a group. Only 1 person liked it. Like, this is trash. All right, guys, let's dissect this. Why do you guys think this post totally didn't catch? And like, it makes a really good learning experience. So the same can happen with very successful posts where you say, oh my gosh, I'm 2 hours in and I have 150 comments. Why do you guys think this one did so well? And when people can kind of see that behind the scenes, that yes, stuff I post every week still fails, they can see that, okay, there's an art to it. There's different reasons why things work and things don't work. So keep practicing. Like, I've done probably thousands of Facebook posts by now. And that's how I got so much better at them and became a lot more consistent. It just naturally to me now, it's just part of my day. So I want that to be the same for you guys, especially if you want to grow your groups. Like, you could like forget the rest of this interview and listen to this. Be consistent. Be consistent every day, because it takes time and it takes a while for people to get to know you. It takes a while for people to kind of get engaged, and it takes a while for people to buy from you. So if you can be consistent, you're going to have a much easier time with all this.
Awesome information, man. I got one more for you. Like, it's just something that like I've kind of do, and I learned from a guy named Ryan Stewman. I'm sure you've heard of him. Mm-hmm. He used to create a lot of like, whenever he posted, they would almost like create groups that were specifically for, like, he calls it the whip effect, so like if he posted something and he needed some like, some engagement to get it kind of rolling and to be seen. Mm-hmm. Maybe he posted it at a weird time to where it kind of slipped down the news feed or whatever. Mm-hmm. The algorithms, he used to talk about like the 3, affinity and all those things that had to do with the Facebook algorithms. But so I've noticed that if I can get somebody, grab a couple people and be like, hey, I made a post, go engage on it. Like, sometimes it'll actually start catching a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And like, people start seeing it because they'll see it in the news feed. And then, and I try and teach everybody like to go follow the people, specifically go to see first on their, all the groups they want to be involved in and all the people that they want to follow. You want to engage in somebody, like I put follow you, and then I see your post every single time. Boom, I'm talking on it, or I'm making a comment as much as I possibly can. So that way, like, it kind of comes back to you a lot of times. And so that's one of, I didn't know if like you ever did that kind of stuff, like in your early stages where it's like, you were like, hey, you guys go mind commenting on this, or,
Yeah, we did put together like a little engagement pod at one point, and totally sizzled out. But yeah, I had a couple of good weeks of, everybody posting up what they had, and then it naturally got some. Another good way to do that is like if you have, for example, like a normal public free group and a client or customer group, you can always go ask your customer group to go like boost up a post, or leave a testimonial or anything like that, where if I have a post that's going out to my main group, it might be promoting something. I might want to go talk to my students and say like, hey guys, I'd really appreciate if you let the comment on this post, just let people know about your experience with my course. And naturally, because they got so much value out of it, so much results, they're happy to. They're like, yes, like this changed my life. I went from 5K months to 15, or I grew from 500 members up to 5K in 2 months, like all this crazy stuff. And they're happy to just share that. So always think about how you can use social proof, leverage those other groups you build up, ask your customers for help, and they'll be happy to.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And so one last thing I just want to throw out that I'm going to drop, make sure if you guys are interested, what are we, hashtag group growth down there. I'm going to drop Arne's group link. You guys make sure and go join that group, man. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. So that'll be the Group Growth Challenge. It is 5 days. And I'm even thinking about pulling down this as a free challenge, because like honestly, I could sell this as a course on its own. But I launched this about 2 months ago, and it's super in depth. Just has different things you can do to set your online presence up so that your Facebook group grows on autopilot without paying for ads. So if that sounds good, make sure you guys type group growth down below. But most importantly, go take action on this stuff, guys, because your group is not going to build itself. You guys have seen what's going on in this group. It takes work, it takes consistency, but it's paying off, and it's so awesome to see. So if you guys want to build up a group too, you don't have to go build a 73,000 person group. You can do just fine, a couple thousand people, and growing it up, and adding some more income to your life and to your business. So highly recommend you guys go through it, take some action, and I know it'll help.
So if they want to go to I know that you had the free Group Growth Challenge, but is there a paid course in there that gets a little bit more detailed, or is there?
Definitely.
So that's where they would go get that. Okay, I just want to make sure that if they want to get into like some serious in-depth information, that I want to make sure and drop the link for the course that'll help them out with that.
For sure, yeah, because like the Group Growth Challenge is obviously focused on the growth. And then what happens is, people start growing up, they getting a lot more members, and then they're like, okay, where do I make the money from? Where do I get the engagement from? How do I manage this group? How do I build a real brand out of this? So like, that's kind of where the full program kicks in, where it's like everything I know about everything about Facebook groups, all laid out on the table in pretty digestible 30 action steps. So it's like, okay, take the action, go through the 30 steps, and you are totally set up. It does take time. It is, it's not a cheap, $50 course or anything like that. It is an investment. It is a program. But if this is something you want to add to your digital marketing arsenal and your skill sets, it is very, very comprehensive and will help in a lot of areas.
Cool. And one other thing, you guys make sure, tell them a little bit about Group Funnels also. I know I use it, and
yeah.
everybody I know uses it, but it's a great way to capture people's information.
For sure. So one of the coolest things about Facebook groups is free leads. Your Facebook group is growing on its own, so you're naturally getting free leads. But what happens is most people are missing out on the best possible opportunity they have to capture those leads at an even higher level. It's one thing to have a group member, but wouldn't it be cool if you could have their emails? So like when you join a Facebook group, I'm sure you guys have all seen this, you know, there's 3 questions that you have to answer to get in. Naturally, marketers thought, okay, we should really be asking for emails here. And that became a new opportunity for marketers to say, okay, I can grow my list, I can grow my group, all for free. This is awesome. But the problem that showed up was it's a huge pain in the ass to have to copy and paste every single email and name and response. And it takes about 30 seconds per member to do that. So even if you're getting a couple of dozen members a week to start, or a couple hundred a week to start, like that's a lot of valuable time you're wasting just copy and pasting. So we came up with a software that automatically picks up all the answers to those questions and puts it straight into your autoresponder through Zapier. So you just press approve all, grabs all the names, emails, questions, shoves it to your CRM, and you can automatically send your new group members a welcome email, get them on your list. That actually really helps with engagement too, because if you join a group, you might check it out, you might not, but if you're getting emails from them as well, that's going to increase their chances of actually showing up. So awesome way to grow the audience on another channel too.
Absolutely. Does in your course, does it teach you how to like integrate chatbots and stuff into it?
No, I don't cover too much in chatbots, but I will give you guys one of my best tips right now is, so a lot of people say like, oh, how do you pay for ads to grow a group? And I say, don't pay for ads to grow a group. You want to be able to, if you're going to pay for ads and you have a goal of growing a group too, you want to pay to get them on a different platform that can always link back to the group. So for example, if somebody goes to like my, group growth cheat sheet funnel, they will opt in, get the cheat sheet. They're going to start getting retargeting ads from me that says, hey, do you want, more Facebook group tips? If so, leave a comment. So this ad, that's going to trigger a comment bot, and then they're going to start getting a bunch of tips through Facebook Messenger. And now I have them on the chatbot. Now I have them, with the guide. Now I have them in the group. The bot links to the group. So it's just having this little ecosystem of like high touch point marketing. So I highly recommend you guys do that. That's pretty sick strategy.
No, I love that. I like how you did it with the group challenge. So, and I just want to throw out here, like any of you guys who go, I'm going to drop the group funnels link in there too. If you guys are interested, you want to get some free leads whenever you start your Facebook group, or if you already got a Facebook group and you're not capturing their information, this is just a phenomenal plugin. Isn't that what it's a plugin, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. So I will drop that link down below. And also any of you guys who go through the link and buy any of Arne's stuff, hit me up, let me know, and I'll give you a free 45-minute coaching call. And we can talk a little bit about affiliate marketing, maybe, where you're at with that. If you want to get started with that, I can help you and kind of go from there. So
that's a deal.
Yep. So it'll be a nice 45-minute coaching call for anybody who goes through the links that I drop in the comments below. And we can talk a little bit about affiliate marketing. Heck, I can even help you with some of the stuff with Arne. So just hit me up in a private message and let me know you went to the link and bought it. So, well, Arne, I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who hopped on. Make sure, again, if you had been on here live, hashtag live, hashtag replay if you watch the replay. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And we'll drop all the links below after we're off. And appreciate you guys for coming out.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks everybody. And thanks for having me on the group. Been fun. Always cool to share the story and help you guys out. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop them below. I'll check them out after the stream, and yeah, catch you guys later. Thanks again.
Cool. Peace out, everyone.